I offer a huge thank you to the Guru Gobind Singh Gurdwara from Bradford. Please let's give them a huge round of applause for that wonderful music. My name is Pat McFadden. I'm the MP for Wolverhampton South East. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm delighted to once again host the parliamentary celebration for Vaisakhi. This event is an all-party event. We are delighted to be joined tonight by MPs from the Conservative Party, from the Labour Party, from the Scottish National Party, perhaps from other parties too. It is organised in conjunction with the British Sikh Consultative Forum and many other Sikh organisations that you will hear from this evening. And the first thing that I have to do is to thank Mr. Speaker for allowing us to hold this Vaisakhi celebration here in the beautiful Speaker's state rooms, as he has done for the last several years.
Speaker, Right Honourable Mr. Secretary of State, Lords, MPs, ladies, esteemed guests. It is my privilege to welcome you all on behalf of the British Sikh Consultative Forum to the 12th Vaisakhi function, being held at Westminster in this very grand place with the kind permission of Mr. Speaker and in association with the Right Honourable Pat McFadden, my own MP from Wolverhampton. We have heard a very sweet Kirtan from these wonderful children, and I'm sure I can say on behalf of all of you that they have melodious voices. They have come all the way from Bradford, a long way to come. Can we thank all their teachers and their parents who have trained them. As ever, we have representatives from several organizations, gurdwaras, professions and walks of life. They have come as far as from Scotland, which is a long way, Manchester, Bradford. We're delighted to have so many members of Parliament and House of Lords joining us on Vaisakhi. Unfortunately, we could not accommodate all of them tonight. At this event, as Mr. McFarlane has raised already, we will be raising one or two issues which are common to the community, because we do represent the community. And this is an ideal opportunity to raise those common concerns which need the attention of all political parties. And we hope our hard-working members of Parliament will consider issues in their representative efforts. We're also very proud of the two very distinctive Sikh MPs, Preet Kaur and Tanmanjeet Singh Stacey, who have joined the ranks of parliamentarians who continue to work hard for us. Unfortunately, Preet Gill, she won't be here, as we have received an apology, but Mr. Stacey's here. We have guests from some very distinguished roles and charities present here. There are many present here, but we can introduce three of them. And I would like to ask them to come to just behind the stage so people can see their wonderful work. They do the first one is we have Balwant Garewal, also known as Bobby Singh Garewal. He does a charity walk of 2,500 to 3,000 miles a year in India to raise funds, and so far he has raised £300,000. we also have Professor Randava, who is head of the Diversity in Health at University of Bedford. He has been leading a campaign to encourage organ donations among ethnic communities, particularly Sikhs. Mr. Randava. And the third one is, you have seen him on TV, Mr. Jazarai, who has been working for some years to bring awareness of alcohol and substance abuse within the Sikh community. He has now set up a program with First Step Charity to help individuals and families in dealing with this issue. He's come from Darwin. Please meet them, and happy Vaisakhi to all of you. Can I now pass the stage to our young lady Davinder Kaur, who has been a key organizer of the event, and also I would like to thank all members of BSCF Consultative Forum. I think they are around. I was going to call them here. That they have worked from Redford, their MP. He's been working hard. We've got Nasha and another MP and John McDonald, who's always been there. What I did want to call them here to the stage so people can see who work tirelessly for the past 12 years. Vaisakhi is our chairman, and Dr. Rai, General Secretary, everybody know. There's some more. Jaswinder Singh's from Luton, and he's a secretary. There's Balwinder Singh somewhere from Birmingham, if he's about. Parminder Singh, Sabhabal, Vice Chairman from Bradford, and Treasurer is Sansar Singh Hasi. So I would like to pass. And Sukhbir Singh, Mr. Sukhbir Singh, who has been doing hard work every year. All this display is his wonderful work.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm sorry to seize the stage, I really am. But this typical MP, isn't it? Absolutely typical. Look, I just want to say a couple of words. We're here to celebrate Vaisakhi, and at the weekend I was at the opening of the central Gurdwara that's been renovated with, well, it's just beautiful. If you get the chance to go there, it's absolutely beautiful. And I was saying then that there's a thing in Sikhism, it's about humility, which is I fully agree with. But actually sometimes you just have to be proud as well. You need to be proud about the formation of the Khalsa. Because what Guru Gobind Singh did is he planted a flag and said, we believe in democracy and equality, and we will even give our lives for that. Now this is light years in advance of what was happening in the West in terms of establishing real democracy and real equality. So I think Sikhs should be proud, not just because this is wonderful to celebrate Vaisakhi, but actually proud about the content of the formation of the Khalsa at that time. It was historic. I'll be brief, so I'll say this finally. We don't celebrate it enough. I don't think enough people understand what Vaisakhi is all about, and I don't think they understand fully the principles behind Sikhism. So one of the things, Senior Malhotra, I think, is putting down an early day motion, which will be cross-party, in which we're saying, why don't we declare April as the month in which we have, well, Sikh History Month. Now that gives us a vehicle. So the Labour Party will support that. Dominic Green was here. I'm sure there'll be Conservatives who will support us as well. And in that way, we will have a whole month in which we celebrate Vaisakhi, eat and enjoy ourselves in the usual way, but also we transform that much more into that month of education, understanding, bringing people together. In that way, I think we can make a sound contribution to our society on the principles of Sikhism, democracy and equality. Thanks for coming tonight. I really enjoyed coming here. I'm on a tight schedule because Jeremy Corbyn doesn't let me out very often, so I've got a couple of other meetings to do, so thanks a lot. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Now I would like to introduce to you Vaisakhi Mahendra Singh Ji, Let me introduce our very, very distinguished chairperson, Vaisakhi. He received the Vaisakhi title from the Sri Akal Takht Sahib. He's a patron of the Sikh Ethos Multi-Faith School Trust, operating 4 state-funded schools, which is an incredible achievement. Vaisakhi is chair and the trustee of the proposed Museum of the World's Religious Organisations of UK. And he is also the recipient of the Papal Knighthood of St. Gregory. These are only some of his many, many achievements. So let me welcome to the stage Vaisakhi Vaisakhi.
Beloved brothers and sisters, Vaisakhi is universally celebrated by Sikhs as the day when Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Sikh Guru, created the Khalsa order in 1699. The Khalsa's birth 319 years ago marked the fruition of the vision nurtured and demonstrated for over 2 centuries by 9 earlier gurus. It also formalized the initiation ceremony by which Sikhs take on a distinctive identity through the wearing of the 5 Ks and the turban. Vaisakhi takes place in the Punjabi month of Vaisakh, and it is heartening to hear this proposal. Vaisakhi is not one day, it is a month. Vaisakhi takes place in the Punjabi month of Vaisakh in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the volume of scripture which was exalted to the status of the eternal Sikh Guru in 1708. Scriptural verses about this time of the year can be found in the separate compositions by the 1st and the 5th Guru. In both depictions, Vaisakh is a time for joyous celebrations, reflections and resolutions for gratitude, sacrifice and commitment, as well as time to exercise compassion, forgiveness and love for all. Through the Khalsa's creation, the 10th Guru consolidated these underlying messages passed down from his predecessors. The first Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, composed his message in Rag Tukhari, a melodic form which evokes the mindfulness of a yogi who contemplates the pangs of separation and the ecstasy of being connected to God Almighty. In parallel, this verse draws on the analogy of a bride awaiting her longed-for husband. It depicts how in the month of Vaisakh nature reveals its many colors and elegant beauty, and it reminds us of the golden opportunity before us to embrace and connect up with God. The 5th Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, composed his message in Rag Maj, a melodic form associated with region of central Punjab. The composition takes the converse strategy of considering the adverse effects of separating ourselves from God through distraction or delusion. It reminds us that the month of Vaisakh is truly beautiful and joyful upon restoring our spiritual connection and blossoming with spiritual virtues emanating from God. Thus, whilst Vaisakhi for Sikhs marks the strengthening of their identity, it also demands the making of an inward pledge to nurture the spiritual bond with God and live by the code of values taught by the Gurus, based on the principles of utter humility, steadfastness, selflessness, altruism, truth, commitment, cooperation, contentment, compassion, forgiveness, love, courage, dedication, coupled with what we call Chaddi Kala, that is ascending optimism. The Vaisakhi, as Prime Minister May has noted this year, is a time to remember the importance of family and community. Certainly the Khalsa order evokes for Sikhs around the world a great sense of family and fraternity. मानस की जात सब में एक ही पहचान हो. That is what Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the 10th Guru, said. The whole of humanity is one family. Sikhs are also to understand that the Khalsa was created as a force for good, to serve our wider human family, wherever tyranny, hypocrisy, or neglect of others takes hold. Today, as our world is immersed in the clouds of war, conflict, and destruction, may the spiritual traits associated with the Khalsa creation resonate with all human minds for the common good. Only then can we truly rejoice and celebrate the occasion of Vaisakhi. I am propelled to say a few words here about the first Englishman who went to Patna, place of worship of the Sikhs. It is interesting and pertinent to reflect at Vaisakhi upon the writings of an Englishman, Sir Charles Wilkins, 1749-1836, an employee of East India Company, who visited and participated in the service of the Sikh place of worship, presently Takht Sri Patna Sahib, Bihar. 73 years after the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji had left for the heavenly abode in 1708. I quote what Charles Wilkins wrote. The founder of the faith was called Nanak. He wrote this in 1781. Who left behind him a book, I suppose Guru Granth Sahib or Granth, which teaches that there is but one God, omnipotent and omnipresent, filling all space and pervading all matter, and that He is to be worshipped and invoked. That there will be a day of retribution when virtue will be rewarded and vice punished. That it not only commands universal toleration, but forbids murder, theft, and all such other deeds as are by the majority of mankind esteemed crimes against society, and inculcates the practice of all virtues, but particularly universal philanthropy and a general hospitality to strangers and travelers. Inquired from the congregation members as to why they were called Sikhs, the reply was that the word is borrowed from one of the commandments of the founder Gurus, which signifies learn thou, Sikho. I believe the commandments could be Sikhi, Sikhya, Gur Vichar. सब सिखन को हुक्म है गुरु मान्यो ग्रंथ, रहनी रहे सोई सिख मेरा. From the service, Charles Wilkins gathered, the Sikhs pray against temptation, for grace to do good, and for the general good of mankind, and in particular, blessings for the Sikhs. That was written in 1781 in Patna by an Englishman. Right. If anybody should know about the Sikhs, it's the British. Thank you.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. My dear friends, we are here to celebrate the completion of Sikh religion, the Khalsa. Guru Nanak, the first Sikh Guru, he pictured an ideal human being, and the 10th Guru put a frame around that picture and complete the Khalsa. Guru Nanak gave us the 3 pillars: hard work, earn, honest living, Kirt karo. Always remember one and only one, Almighty Vaheguru, and share with the needy. The same principle Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave to the Khalsa. The Khalsa is compassion, love, forgiveness. Saintly deeds and actions must always come first. Love, jan prem kiyo, then he prabhaya. Everybody created in the whole universe is created by the one Almighty Vaheguru. That's why मानस की जात सब एक है पहचान हो.
everybody is the same. I'm here on behalf of Council of Gurdwara Management Committee to congratulate the whole community of the creation of the Khalsa. I realize this time is running out. I'm not going into too much detail. May Vaheguru bless us with the love and everlasting joy. Vaisakhi is the start of the harvesting season in the North India, time of joy and happiness. I pray to Vaheguruji in everybody's life that everlasting joy means Anand. We will have that Anand, and in the whole world it's everlasting peace, brotherhood and love. Vaheguruji ka khalsa. Vaheguruji ki fateh.
Vaheguruji ka khalsa. Vaheguruji ki fateh. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to all the parliamentarians and the Secretary of State, who I think is on his way, and to the Speaker of the House, John Bercow, for their hospitality, allowing us to use this wonderful venue here in Parliament. Once again, we're celebrating Vaisakhi, and the Consultative Forum under the chairmanship of Vaisakhi and the Athak Sevadar, Dr. Rai and Sadhu Singh, who for many years have held this program in Parliament. Last year when I spoke, Padden said there were no Sikh MPs, and this year we have 2 Sikh MPs. And if you look at Vaisakhi 1699, what did Guru Gobind Singh actually give us? He gave us the Amrita, and he gave us the Sikh identity with our Pantrika. And if we now look in the House of Commons, what did Guru Gobind Singh really want from his Sikhs? He wanted them to stand proud. He wanted them to be seen in hundreds. And we now have a turban-wearing Sikh in the House of Commons, and Tanmandi Singh Kisi, you're the star, does us proud. In the same way, we have our first Sikh woman MP, Preet Kaur Gill, who can't be with us today. And she has broken that mould as well, of being the first Sikh female MP. And if you look at, they've been MPs for the best part of 8-9 months. They've served their constituents, they've served their local areas. But we, as the Sikh community, what did we expect from our Sikh parliamentarians? And they've hit the road running. Whether it's the census, whether it's direct flights to Punjab, whether it's further protection from drugs, or whether it's those individuals that may go to India and face issues there, they fought all those cases. And in particular, John Bercow, I'm not sure he's here now, but he witnessed this Sikhi spirit of Jardikala when he chaired the meeting of the National Sikh Memorial Trust a few months ago. And those that were there then will realise it was a historic moment. Tanmandi Singh Kesi did all the effort in bringing the community together, the parliamentarians together, and for those tens of thousands of Sikhs who gave up their lives in the First and Second World War, we have always said as a community that in central London, in this place, we would like a permanent war memorial. And under the stewardship of our Sikh MPs, that is much closer. On that day, the Sikh community not just led the way for demanding it, we put our hands in our pockets very deeply and raised £375,000 for that cause. So I think parliamentarians, the Secretary of State, when he's here, like to remind him, he said on the day, if the Sikh community can raise that much, the government can help as well. So we will hold them to account to ensure that the Sikh Memorial is in the heart of London, in a place that we can all see and everybody else can see the contributions Sikhs have made. And when it comes to representation, and I know the MPs here have been instrumental in ensuring Sikh representation, we made a good start, but it's not enough. There needs to be more Sikhs in those places where Sikhs are visible, in those places where influence is created. And so House of Commons, House of Lords, and also those political parties where influence is created. And I congratulate my colleague from Sikh Council, Gurinder Singh Joshan, who stood for the NEC of the Labour Party and is standing again. And I congratulate him because that role is where visible Sikhs need to be, as well as in Parliament and in House of Lords. Very quickly, my topic last year was Brexit. I just want to give a short update. And the update is that there was uncertainty last year, and with less than a year to go, there's even more uncertainty. Sikhs are establishing the community with deep commitment and contribution to every walk of life. And the Sikh community, as the citizens of the United Kingdom, do face the prospect of change. And most of these changes will affect most of the citizens in the UK, but there are some changes that are particular to Sikhs.
Welcome to everybody, and I'm very grateful the Secretary of State is taking time off from a very heated debate to come here. The Speaker, Mr. Burko, Lords MPs, esteemed guests, the British Sikh Consultative Forum, along with other Sikh organisations, welcomes you here. And this is a place where, as major announcements seem to be made. I hope that if April is made at the Vaisakhi function, I personally would like to hold April off as well. But with Brexit, we are now entering a critical period in our history, in the community as well. Much understanding of the Sikhs has been introduced in and championed in Europe by our very hard-working parliamentarians and our government, whether it was the Kafan issue, the SAR issue, the Turban issue of the airports, and we have to thank the British government for making it easy for them. But we are concerned that with Brexit, then there may be less understanding in Europe, and we hope that in the negotiation, some sort of a provision is created for this continuing dialogue on ethnic communities and the Sikhs. On matters of foreign policy, we would urge the government, and the Secretary of State takes this message back, that the sentiments of ethnic communities is also important when making foreign policy. The Sikh community has still not understood why certain organizations were proscribed in 2001 and why there was assistance given to India in 1984. And we hope that in future foreign policy will be cognizant of the sentiments of ethnic minorities. This is also the 100th year of the when women got a vote in the UK. The issues of gender and equality is somewhat is slightly complex in Sikhi and Sikhs, and it's not as straightforward as sometimes is presented outside. The Sikh philosophy emphasizes right on dignity and respect, which is different than from the identity of equality, the politics of equality, and the number crunching politics, which often tends to occupy much of the policies in international affairs. The Sikh women have enjoyed power in the community, in kingdoms, in pre-colonial times and in modern times. So it's not a new thing, Sikh women to be taking some very powerful positions in the Sikhs. There is no obstacle to Sikh women reaching the heights of power from theology, from ideology, or from the Sikh principle. There is sometimes problems with implementation. With the community now settling here and settled, I think the Sikh community needs to look at where the implementation is going wrong. We, the BSCF, will work with academics and other organizations to make sure that that implementation is also made possible. I wish to thank everybody again, and can I introduce the Secretary of State. Thank you for coming to the forum.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to start with a quote from Guru Nanak. Even kings and emperors, with their heaps of wealth and vast dominion, cannot compare to an ant filled with love of God. Now, I'm not sure that anyone here right now feels like a king or an emperor, especially in these splendid surroundings. But it's a message of humility and hope that is especially inspiring at this very special and sacred time. Not just for Sikhs, I must say, but I think for all Punjabis who are celebrating the New Year, because, as I know, the Punjabis never give them a good excuse for a party. Now, and while this Vaisakhi has just passed, I know that the prayers, the processions, the millas, the family get-togethers, they will be in full swing for quite a while. Because there's a lot to celebrate. Not just the spiritual significance of this holy period, but the tremendous contribution that the Sikh community continues to make to our great country. In every region of the country and in every sphere of life. The Sikh community has given us, for example, some of our finest business leaders, some of our most dedicated public servants, including here in Parliament, and as we just heard, we'd like to see more Sikhs in our great British Parliament. They and many others, they have become an integral part of Britain and they play a proud record in Britain of showing that we are I believe we are the most successful multi-ethnic democracy in the world. And I want to take this opportunity also, on behalf of the government, to assure the community that we will continue to stand up for their rights and their ability to fully participate in society. And I also listened carefully about what was said earlier about other countries in Europe, and how sometimes I don't think they have observe the rights of ethnic communities, including, of course, the Sikh community, and that's something that will never happen in this country. The Sikh community deserves no less. This Parliament, it stands on the shoulders of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, including, as we just heard, many Sikhs who fought and they died for the freedoms that we enjoy today in the world wars and in many other British conflicts. And where does this remarkable tradition of military service originate? Vaisakhi, which marks the birth of the Khalsa Panth of warriors over 300 years ago. To this day, the Sikh reputation for bravery is unequalled, a bravery to which we all owe a great debt, and which I'm delighted that we will do even more to recognise by supporting a National Sikh War Memorial. And it will be in London, and it will be in a prominent place because it deserves to be. And my thanks to Tam. Is Tam here today? My thanks to Tam for leading that campaign and getting off the ground. He's a very valued member of getting it done in the way we all want to see it. Thank you, Tam. So it only now remains for me to say thank you to our hosts, thank you of course to Pat as well for helping to organise this event, and wish you all a very happy Vaisakhi. Vaisakhi di Lak Lak Vadaya.
Thank you very much, Pat. I'm very, very glad to be here this evening. I'm glad to see such a lovely full room. Who was it that said they were from Glasgow in here? Hey! Thank you for coming all the way down. It's wonderful to see you here. I'm absolutely delighted because quite often I come to these events and there isn't anybody from Glasgow, so I'm very, very glad to see you. In Glasgow we've just had the wonderful Vaisakhi event through the city, and what a joy it was to see the response on some of the social media as well, and Glasgow citizens embracing this wonderful spectacle. Because we are lucky in Glasgow to have 4 Gurdwara in the city, and 3 of them are in my constituency. And the procession went from the Guru Tegh Bahadur Gurdwara in St Andrews Drive to the Gurdwara Guru Granth Sahib and Albert Drive, up to the Guru Nana Sikh Gurdwara on Tego Street, and then to the beautiful central Gurdwara Singh Sala on Berkeley Street. And it's a wonderful celebration. You can go around the city, this 6.5-mile trip that takes over 3 hours to get all the way around to celebrate the Sikh community and to have that so very well received by Glasgow citizens. And certainly in my recent visit to the central Gurdwara, the kindness and the hospitality and the generosity of time as well that people took with me to show me around, to tell me all the stories and talk me through all the things to do with the Gurdwara. It was absolutely brilliant. And of course I was not allowed to pass by without indulging in some of the language there as well, so I was very grateful for that too. And it's often said in Glasgow that people make Glasgow. And it's very much true of the Sikh community in Glasgow as well, because the generosity, the participation in our life in our city is very much part of who we are as a city. And I hope very much that that long continues, that we have this wonderful diversity in our city and that is embraced. And I want to just pay a wee bit of tribute, I suppose, to some of my colleagues. To Pete Gelker and to Tan Singh Desi, who have been brilliant MPs coming in here. And I came in here in 2015, and it's not an easy place to come into, but my goodness, they've made it look easy, because they have stood up for their constituencies and for their community from day one, and they've done an absolutely exceptional job in doing so. And we can all be very, very proud of what they have achieved. But it should not stop there, because we do not have yet any Sikh members of the Scottish Parliament, and I would very much like to see people in the Scottish Parliament from the Sikh community too. And we have had people on the regional list in the Scottish Parliament who haven't quite made it yet, but I hope someday that they will. That my good friend Charandeep will make it into the Scottish Parliament as well, because he's a great spokesperson within Glasgow too, in his role in the Scottish Chambers of Commerce. But there are challenges still there, and we all know that. We cannot be complacent in any way. We have to meet these challenges, all of us together. It's not for the Sikh community to do this on their own, that we all must stand together to meet the challenges that we have to face. My colleague Martin Docherty-Hughes has been standing up for Jagtar Singh Johal as well. Standing up for his constituency in Clydebank has also been rallying round behind him too, because these things cannot be done on our own. We all have to come together as a community, whatever we can do. And the challenges around Brexit were well made, and we will continue to do everything that we can to make sure that you are reassured and that your rights are respected as you go ahead. But I just wanted to reflect, Dr. Jasdev Singh Rao mentioned the suffragettes in his remarks. And it's quite a nice thing that has happened just this past year. We celebrate 100 years since some women got the vote, but we also saw this year the Royal Mail deciding to put Sophia Dulip Singh, the Sikh suffragette, onto a postage stamp. And I'm not sure if she's the first Sikh to be on a postage stamp. I heard that she was. But that's really quite wonderful, that not only are women celebrated, but very particular women whose efforts have perhaps not been as recognised as they could have been over the generations were recognised, because those rights were fought for, not by her, just for her, but for all women and for all of us through the years. So it's a nice thing to be able to celebrate as well. So thank you very much. I apologise for any pronunciation here, but Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you very much.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It's an absolute pleasure to be here once again for the annual Vaisakhi celebrations in the Speaker's Staterooms. And as previous speakers have done, I think we are very, very thankful to Mr. Speaker for hosting this event. And we are also thankful to my dear friend, Mr. Pat McFadden, who, through his energy, has not only campaigned on various Sikh issues throughout his distinguished political career, but he has been the driving force to ensure that Mr. Speaker actually allows us these rooms and to host this Vaisakhi celebration. So thank you very much to yourself as well, Pat. And of course today we've got the British Sikh Consultative Forum, the chairman of which, Bhai Mahendra Singh Ji, the General Secretary, what can I say, Dr. Rai, who I know was in the room earlier as well, and the Vice Chair, Dr. Sadhu Singh, Executive Committee members, Balwinder Singh Chahedu, Jaswinder Singh Nagra, Mrs. Kaur, and several others who have been instrumental in bringing a lot of good work within the community, but also in helping to organise this and to invite all of us and to collate all of us on an annual basis. But we're here today to celebrate Vaisakhi, and that is the creation of the Khalsa by the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and the values of the Khalsa, and also to commemorate the steadfastness and the devotion of the Panch Pyare, the five beloved ones. I think through their actions, we can actually be inspired to become members of the Khalsa, because that ultimately is the aim for the Sikhs, because the Khalsa and its distinctness is central to the Sikh way of life. As the 10th Guru himself said, Khalsa mero roop hai khas, Khalse mein ho karo nivas. That the Khalsa is my special form and I reside within the Khalsa. And what can be actually said about the 10th Guru himself? As was very eloquently put, Par gatya mard agammada, Varyam akela, Vaho Vaho Gobind Singh, Abe Gurchela. That the Guru, who actually gave up everything, his father, his children, his parents, everything for the Khalsa, for the faith, that he ultimately also became not just a Guru but also a disciple, because he took the Amrit, the ambrosial nectar, from the 5 beloved ones as well and became a part of the Khalsa. So I think it is those values that we ought to remember and keep central as we get together on an annual basis as well. But being a Sikh MP, let me once again reiterate that what has been said by previous speakers. It's very good having Sikh MPs here, and I think there's a historic moment, as Avtar Singh Ji and Vaisakhi and Dr. Sab, several other speakers have already outlined. But before us came many distinguished individuals, parliamentarians from various political parties, who have done an immense amount of work to ensure that the interests of the Sikh community are held in high regard by other parliamentarians. And while we are referring to the works of the likes of Pat, and I know John McDonnell was here earlier, and John Speller and others, and I can see Stephen McCabe has just entered the room. I won't mention all the parliamentarians because I think Pat has already done that very eloquently before. But one thing that you can rest assured, that working with them in future as well, that we will make sure that the Sikh community is proud. And I would like to particularly mention my colleague Seema Malhotra, who, on a cross-party basis again, being supported by the likes of Alison Thewlis from the SNP, being supported by Dominic Grieve and others from the Conservative Party, working on a cross-party basis, she has now introduced a motion which already has the support of more than 50 MPs to ensure that April is celebrated as the Sikh month, that to celebrate Vaisakhi and everything that is pertained to it. So well done. Because while we expect Sikh MPs to lead on it, it is also important that non-Sikh MPs, such as Alison, such as Seema and Pat and others, that we support them in their endeavours. But one thing that you can rest assured is that the likes of myself, if you've elected me, while I will be there to safeguard the interests of my Slough constituents and also to safeguard the wider British interest, because being born and brought up in Britain, I'm truly proud to be British as well. Just as I'm proud to be Sikh, I will be standing up for issues of the Sikh community. Now, whether that is a National Sikh War Memorial, for which I had a great deal of help from the wider Sikh community, and I think Jagtar Singh Gill, as a Sikh Council UK General Secretary, spoke very eloquently about it, and we had the backing of Sajid Javid as the Secretary of State as well, that we had very, very generous individuals who put their names forward, including Jagtar Singh Gill, who actually committed £25,000. We had 15 very, very generous individuals from the community who committed £25,000 each to ensure that we got to that 375,000 figure. But apart from that, whether it's direct flights from Birmingham and London to Amritsar, whether it is about the release of Sikh political prisoners in India, whether it is about the census, whether it is about other issues which are very, very important to the Sikh community, the likes of myself will be standing steadfast with other Sikh organisations present within this room to ensure that we work collectively for the benefit of the community. Now, I could rattle on for a long time, but I think with those few words, once again, thank you so much for the love and support. Many of you helped to make and create that history. This turban Sikh in Parliament didn't just happen by accident. many of you came out in their dozens, and I know on election day there were more than 250 people from outside of Slough who came to help in that campaign and to create that history. So you are beneficiaries, but also you deserve that credit as well. So thank you very, very much to all of yourselves. Well done once again to Pat and the BSCF, and thank you to Mr. Speaker. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaisakhi Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi Ji Ki Fateh. Pat, I thought I'd got away without speaking tonight and just enjoying listening to everybody, and I want to also welcome you all here this evening and wish you all a very, very happy Vaisakhi. I want to just say maybe a couple of words then about why I felt it was important to take the lead from some of the work that's gone on in America and call for the first National Sikh Awareness and History Month here in the UK. We've seen the importance of April in the Sikh calendar. It isn't just Vaisakhi, but we know we have so many Gurdwaras represented here, and I'm incredibly proud to have both of Hounslows Gurdwaras represented here today. That the Nagar Kirtans that go on Sunday after Sunday during April have such huge significance, and yet people, even many prominent members of Parliament, have never seen or heard of them. And when we think about how Sikhs are now in every community across the land, and how so much that's happened so publicly is not really understood by those who are in the community, and yet that message of Nagar Kirtan is to share the teachings of the Guru, share the values, and build that connection in our communities. I feel that it is important, particularly in a time when we see more division in our society and less understanding, that we have something that marks a way of having more understanding, and that I hope will contribute to a reversal in the rise of hate crime and racism that we have seen, that a turbaned member of the Sikh community, a visitor to the House of Commons, was assaulted just yards from here. That to me was a matter of great shame, that it happened not just in Britain and happened today, but that it happened here, just outside the House of Commons. And so I very much hope that with the support that just in 24 hours we've seen from members of Parliament from all parties, and also the support from Jeremy Corbyn that we'll be announcing further shortly, that I hope that we will see this marked as a month in our national calendar, and that we will have that chance to build understanding year after year, not just here in Parliament, but across the country, and I hope across the world. So with that, I thank you all, and I thank you for the support, and I look forward to working with Tan, Pat, and all others to make this a reality. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
A lot has been said. For the Sikhs, let me start in Punjabi. And what best than to quote from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. विसाख तीरन क्यों वाडिया जिन्ना प्रेम बिछो हर साजन पुरख विसार के लगी माया तो पुत्र कलतर न संग तना प्रभ अविनाशी ओ पलच सगली मुई झूठे तंदे भो एक हर के नाम बिना अगे लइए खो कितना वड्डा महाराज ने विसाख से उपदेश दिता है कि असी बीबियां हैं मालिक जिहड़ा है उन्होंने असी विसार दिता है सानू माया की शौक लग गई सानू लगता है पुत्र धीआं धन दौलत जिहड़ी है साडे नाल जाएगी किसी ने नाल नहीं लेके जाना सानू इक्को एक हो है बाकी जो उपजया सो बिनस है परो आज के काल नानक हर गुण गाए लै सार सगल जगत्याल ठीक सो सिखां दी फाउंडेशन जिहड़ी है वो धर्म दे उत्ते है धर्म की है गुण दया सत संतोख निमरता प्रेम त्याग किन्हां दा करना है औगुणां दा वो किहड़े ने काम क्रोध लोभ मोह हंकार तुसीं देखो पंजां दी गल है पंजां तत्तां दे असीं बने आ पंज ही साडीआं इंद्रियां ਸੈਂਸਿਸ ਨੇ, 5 ਹੀ ਉਂਗਲੀਆਂ ਨੇ, 5 ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਨੇ, 5 ਹੀ ਤਖਤ ਨੇ, 5 ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਾਣੀਆਂ ਸਵੇਰ ਦੀਆਂ। ਕਿੰਨਾ ਸੌਖਾ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਨਾ ਗੁਣ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਿਨ ਗੁਣ ਕੀਤੇ ਭਗਤ ਨਾ ਹੋਏ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਭ ਗੁਣ ਤੇਰੇ, ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੁਣ ਮਾਲਕ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਚੰਗਾ ਕਰਮ ਕਰੀਏ ਫਿਰ ਮਾਲਕ ਗੁਣ ਦੇ, ਨਿਰਗੁਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਣ ਦਿੰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਦਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ, ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੀਏ, ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕੀਏ। ਉਹ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨ ਵਾਲੀ ਤੇ ਮਾਲਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਕਨੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਐਸਟੈਬਲਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੀ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਹੈ। ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟੇਰੀਅਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਪਤਾ। 1781 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੋਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਚਾਰਲਸ ਵਿਲਕਿੰਸ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਪਟਨੇ, ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ। ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਉਹਨੇ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ, ਅਬਜ਼ਰਵ ਕਰ ਲਈਆਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਦੇਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਉਹ ਵੈਲਿਊਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਰੌਲਾ ਪਿਆ ਹੈ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼। ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼ ਕਿਉਂ? ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੰਗੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬਣੀਏ। ਵੀ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਬੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਬੀਇੰਗਸ। ਅਤੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨੇ ਆਈਡੀਅਲ ਹਿਊਮਨ ਬੀਇੰਗ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੀ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੇਸੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੈਟਿਕ ਮਾਡਲ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਓਪਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਰਾਜ਼ੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨਜਸਟਿਸ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਰਾਜ਼ੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ? ਦੇ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਇਨਕਲਕੇਟ ਮੋਰ ਵੈਲਿਊਜ਼। ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਵੈਰੀ ਹੈਪੀ ਦੈਟ ਦੇ ਹੈਵ ਅਲਾਉਡ 6 ਸਕੂਲਸ। ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨੇ, ਦੇ ਹੈਵ ਹੈਲਪਡ ਅਸ। ਸਿੱਖ ਈਥੋਸ, ਮਲਟੀ ਫੇਥ, ਵੈਲਿਊ ਲੈਡ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ। ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਵਾਟ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਸਪੋਰਟ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ 2007 'ਚ ਯੂਨੀਸੈਫ ਨੇ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਵੀ failed generation in England. I'm saying there were 2 failed generations. Failed because they have not been teaching values to kids. एक family breakdowns करके, ये बड़ी important गल है। So parliamentarians ये सब तो बड़े इशू ने। जो sustainable goals ने, हुन 17 goals ने global. We have been pushed into a global village. We should look at globally, we should also look locally, internationally. So all the problems are because we human beings are not good human beings. That's the problem. We succumb to vices, and that causes problems. We become exploitative. We are selfish. This is the cause of all things. If we have good human beings, they will be good citizens. Good citizens may not be good human beings. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.